text each other, hey, I'm back, I've traveled well, but I'm so tired. She's telling me, Baba, 2 days later, I'm still tired. And the husband says, no, go see the doctor. Nyenge, from the time that she came back to see a doctor, it was like 5 weeks. Within 5 weeks, my sister was gone. No idea, Nyenge, that she had groin, breast, and ovarian cancer. No! When she told me, I said to my husband, I'm coming to see Trish straight away. I was on the very next flight of the next day.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Moments with Nyengeterai. I just want to say thank you so much for the love. Oh my gosh, the messages, my messages are just like flooding, and I'm so excited because the community is growing. Please continue to subscribe, to share, to talk about it with your friends and family, but please do join this community. And thank you for the suggestions. And I'm trying to bring the people you've been asking for, the topics you want us to talk about. But I'm genuinely, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Because what's happening in this community is not what I expected. And God really has been good to us. And today I have another phenomenal woman, a sister, a friend, and this interview has been going back and forth for months. We were supposed to have this, then it wasn't happening, then things were just happening. So I believe God orchestrated the conversation today.
Come on.
And I'm sure He's at the center of everything that will happen today. Sis Petronella, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Like you say, it has been so overdue, and I'm excited to be here. Finally,
it's happening.
Finally.
For those who don't know you, can you just tell them a bit about yourself, who you are, your background, what you do, just anything that you feel will help our audience understand.
How much time do I have to tell you about myself?
It can be the whole episode.
Yeah, first and foremost, I'm a child of God. And I'm not afraid or ashamed to sit here and say I'm a child of God. I'm the baby of a family of 7 kids. We were 7 children, and I'm sure as we go along, we'll be talking a bit more about that. I'm the baby. We were 2 girls in my family with 5 boys, and I grew up pretty much a tomboy. Came from humble beginnings. My dad was a policeman. My mom was a housewife. That's all she knew to do was take care of us, and that she did the most amazing thing. I educated at Dominican convent. That's where I pretty much finished my schooling, and it was many great years, many great memories that we created there as well. Growing up then, I fell in love, dated this man for 6 years before he eventually proposed, and I'm married to an amazing man. Tshatedi, lovely guy. He takes care of me, supports my vision, understands my vision. And here we are, 32 years later.
Wow.
With 2 amazing daughters who are both married now. Cho, the older one, married to Ngoni, and Tabile, the younger daughter, she's married to Davis, and she's living out in the States. So I love my daughters. I love my girls. They push me. They bully me. And I keep getting told, this is a reminder of what you used to do to us. But they keep me going. They keep me young, very young. They keep me on my toes.
Wow.
So, I've got an amazing family. Besides just them, like you said, I have an amazing community behind me as well. Amazing extended family. My brothers and their children, my sister and her husband and their children. So we have an amazing family. I come from, my maiden name is Chingoka. So for those who know, my brothers were tennis, cricket. My other brother used to play for Dynamos. We are a sporting family. I myself played basketball for many years. I represented Zimbabwe. Yeah. So, yeah. And today, Nyenge, what am I doing with myself? I'm actually an events planner.
And a very good one.
Thank you. Thank you. I love it. We look at doing corporates, weddings. I'm passionate about weddings because, just seeing that bride smile at the end of the day or smile as she walks into the room to see what you've done for her. I love creating those moments. I love creating moments.
Yeah. I love creating moments too.
It's special, walking that journey with them. You'll find I'll talk probably more about my wedding planning side of things than from the corporate side because, there's something about that. There's something that just makes me glow, that makes me bubble with excitement. So pretty much in a nutshell, that's what I am. Right now, an events planner. Oh, no, and I also do a lot of etiquette and grooming training. Wow. Yeah. Wow. There's a lot that we need to still learn, myself and people around us, and if only we could just get people get that understanding that when someone is trying to teach you something, it's not because you don't know, but it's just to elevate you and get you better.
Because we're all evolving, becoming, developing. We have to develop. I don't know why people want to fight that,
Yeah.
We need to develop. And we don't know everything. And every day we learn.
Yeah. I'm learning every day. In our industry, I have amazing people I work with, And people sometimes wonder, there's one special friend in the industry, and I'll mention if it's okay with you, Zala, and she comes out, and when she can't do an event, she'll phone me, hey, Petty, are you free on such and such a date? I'm referring somebody, and it's good. So, yes, competition is good, but let's also work together.
Yes.
So, it's good because so many great people in our industry. I work so well with people of Bruni's, Bliss, I could go on, but I won't in case I leave somebody out and then, I get into trouble for it. But, it's amazing. And how, if we grow together in the community, things become easier. Yeah.
So true. And what you said, the working together and so of competing, because yes, we might be competitors, but when we complement each other and are able to push work, because I have that where people say, what, Yinka, I can't speak at this engagement, please can you go for me?
Come on.
Or, I can't speak and I look for someone, I know I'm supposed to be there, but maybe something's happened.
Right.
I will look for someone to replace and I'll ask the person, can I please bring this one? Because I think that's what we should be evolving and growing into.
Absolutely.
Than continuously looking at each other as
absolutely, absolutely. And the other one too that I enjoy doing as well is our youngsters these days, they're growing up in a social media world where everything is about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and they're forgetting the manners. We instill these things in our kids, but they're forgetting those manners. So I've got a training course that I do called Posh Tete. And I called it Posh Tete because I myself am a tete of many. My brothers, how many nephews and nieces do I have? 14, I think it is.
Wow.
Yeah, 14.
I guess from five brothers you'd expect that.
I think it is 14. If I've left someone out, my sweethearts, please forgive me. But I think it is 14. So, and I watched this and I realized that our kids need help, So I call it Posh Tete, and in there I'm teaching them grooming. I'm teaching them how to deal with social media, which is, we can't run away from that. That's exactly what's happening now. You can't run away from that. So I teach them on how to actually behave on social media. I remember my one niece and my daughter once said, whatever you put on social media, that becomes you.
It's your footprint, and it stays there. It's so important.
Exactly. So I try and teach them that be careful of the things that you post. Don't post so that you get seen by somebody, because when you're now looking for a job or looking for a place in college in Harvard or something like that,
they'll go back and they'll look at it.
They'll go back to that.
I was sitting these young girls at Hellenic, coincidentally, because we're doing a training with them.
Right.
And it was on personal branding. And they're about to go to uni. And I was saying exactly the same thing. You have to watch. You might be excited that we're out there drinking and but it will follow you one day.
Absolutely.
And you need to be very, very careful about your social media footprint. It's very important.
Yeah.
So now to unpack.
Yes.
So many, I don't know. Okay, let me start from childhood.
Right.
You spoke about your dad. I know your dad was amazing. I mean, I heard stories from your brother. So your brother is my friend. So
okay.
both. I had two of them. One was my chairman, one was my friend. Right. So your dad was a policeman, your mom, when you grew up. Talk to me about your childhood and how it has impacted the woman that you are today.
Right. Disciplinarian of note was that one Mr. Douglas Chingoka. He was a disciplinarian. We all used to think, oh my gosh, and all my mother needed to say was vachauya, and you knew exactly what was going to happen. So the discipline that my parents instilled is a lot of who I am today. The values that we grew up with, the principles, very staunch Catholics, but we did things by the book. We did things by the Bible, So today I can stand here confidently and say I am who I am because of the principles, the values, and the discipline that was instilled in us as we grew up. I mean, we're talking 7 children, 7 boys and 2 girls. It was a big family.
Wow.
That was a big family. But if you look at us all today, well, okay, most of them are late now. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But we all grew up, in a great manner. Mm-hmm. My parents cannot sit there and say to Panimwana one who embarrassed them or did some, you know what I'm trying to say. Mm. We may not all have been chairmans or, but in whatever field we were in, we excelled. Mm. We excelled.
What are some of those values that your dad and your mom instilled in you that you believe have actually produced these amazing children, 7 children?
Integrity, and more integrity. That was one thing that we were told all the time. Be a person of your word. Be a person. Don't say one thing and go and do the other. Like we're talking about earlier on. Don't do something to please people when deep down that's not you. So that there is very, very key. And it's something that I will always encourage people to go by. It's sometimes it almost sounds cliched. You see in people's mission statements and their vision, you see integrity. But it's true. Because if you don't have that, you're not a real person. So that has been something that we grew up knowing full well, that this is what it is. Be a person of your word. Be honest, be truthful, and always give the best of who you are. Something else was, because my dad was a policeman, there was a lot of excellence that they were taught, which then translated back home. So today, one of my payoff lines is attention to detail.
Yay.
And I will always sign my letter, my email, whatever, as excellence always, because that's something else that I was taught to do and to become. Yeah.
And there's a last born. Were you not like, a last born? I'm a firstborn, so I have to do with my sister. She's the last born. I always feel like parents, somehow when they get to the last born, they kind of like lose it a bit. They're not as hard,
That's true.
How did you manage to then become the woman that you are? Because I know last borns.
No, although I got away with a lot. And actually the funny thing is it's my brothers who made me get away with a lot. My parents, not so much. My brothers, they stood for me and they paved the way for me. And so I got away with a lot. With my sister, growing up, we fought a lot. I suppose we're 2 girls fighting for the attention of the parents, fighting for the attention of the boys, But, by the time we were both I was in end of primary school, high school, we had now become super close. But no, I actually didn't get away with a lot, except with the boys. So my dad died. There was no for saying that, you're the baby of the family. So, but my brothers and my sister spoiled me.
Wow. I can imagine even when you were dating, what they were doing, your brothers.
Well, interestingly, I had one brother, Peter, who would growl at, especially at Eric, and Eric used to be petrified of him. Patrick was always cool. And I was his baby. In fact, right from when he was dating Sis Daisy, she's late now, I used to always be with them the whole time, sit in the car with them, sing to her. And they always took me everywhere. So he spoiled me. I pretty much was like his baby, Yeah. Peter was the most strict Peter and Bonnie were the most strict. I was very close with Dougie. So, and my mom always used to say, you two, you're going to kill someone and no one will ever know that. Just cover up and Yeah, so, but we grew up a very close family. We grew up very tight. And the good thing is that our children have picked that up. So they two are very close and they get along and they do things together. They actually don't need friends around them because they do things together. They do a lot of things together. Wow. Yeah.
So because of that, from that, I actually just want to unpack that, that family, the family values,
right,
and how you grew up and how it's impacted your adulthood, your marriage, your family, and also just people around you. How has the impact of family been on you, from just how you guys grew up?
Well, I'll jump a bit from how we grew up, but again, we were, as I said to you, we were a very close family. And we did a lot of things together, even as family. I remember just so much as a basketball match. If my dad couldn't make it, you'd send my brothers or my sister-in-law, my sisters-in-law. You'd send somebody to come and watch me.
Wow.
Just so that there was always a presence. My dad and my mom never wanted us to feel as if you're alone.
No, please.
And remember, we grew up as well in a time when we were still a very few blacks in the schools. And you'd see all these white kids coming with their parents to everything. And we always never had support. But I was fortunate enough to always have somebody present, whether it was a tennis match or a basketball match or a hockey match. Somebody was there.
Wow.
Wow. And since it's translated to our kids, I remember going to watch my youngest daughter. She was a tree in assembly. When she came over, I told her, you're the best tree. You were fantastic. I love the way you were swinging your arms like the branches would do. You know what I mean? Because that's what I grew up knowing. That it doesn't matter how small a thing that you do it. My parents always elevated it to make it out as if you're the best and you did the most amazing thing doing that. And then I know we'll probably talk about it, but I'll bring it up now. When you talk about family, I'm a breast cancer survivor. Hence the pink, hence October, and I have been for 27 years.
Wow. Yes. It's been 27 years now.
27 years. And I sit here strong as can be.
Oh my gosh. Actually, let's go there. Let's actually just go there.
Right.
I remember the first time you came and you spoke at Rotary and I was in tears. And I'm looking at this person, I was just like, oh my gosh. Let's go there. I think just tell the viewers how you found out. And just, yes, that's why I wanted to go about. I was actually going to get there, but through family, because I remember how that was for you.
Right. That was the most traumatic, horrible experience. Having been a very sporting person, things like that are not supposed to happen to you. So for a while, I always had a pain in my breast. And I kept saying to my husband, babes, I've got this pain, And first he'd say, oh, shame, Then after a while he said to me, you know what, you keep saying this. Why don't you just go and see your doctor? So I went to see my doctor, rest her soul, the late Dr. Mbao, because she was an amazing doctor. And she sat me down, we talked, and she said she felt and everything like that. She sent me for a scan. She says, come back in 7 days' time. But after 3 days, she called me. And she says to me, I need to see you. So I said, when a doctor calls you, then she says, no, I didn't like what I saw. I know you said it was a painful lump that you had in your breast, but I'd like you to go and have a biopsy. So be careful for a biopsy.
Nothing to it. Because
here I am, I'm a basketball player. So I'm fit. It's nothing to it. I go and have my biopsy. Again, very great surgeon who did that for me. And then he says, no, come back so that we can have a look at your stitches. Do we remove them, blah, 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 and then we can talk about way forward and we'll have a result for you then. Now, the interesting thing is, every other time that I'd been going to, like Dr. Mbako, even when I went for mammograms and all those tests, I was doing this on my own. But God being God, the day that I got the news, I said to Eric, you know what, I really want you to come and meet my surgeon. He's a great guy and he's so funny, and just come, let's go. I just want you to be there with me. I didn't know why God was sending me with Eric to go see him, We get there, he starts, we're sitting at his desk, he's talking, oh, you brought your husband today, we're talking, having a great time. Then his face drops. And I go, okay. Then he goes, I don't have great news for you. So I said, oh, what's happening? And he goes, you've got cancer. The rest of the 30 minutes that we were in that room, I heard nothing. All I could hear him say was, you are dead. You are dead. You are dead. Because as far as I knew, cancer was a death disease. So again, God being God, had Eric there with me so that he could take in everything that he was saying, everything that was being, everything that I had to prepare for the next stage of what was going to happen in my life. So eventually we get up. He says to me, did you understand what I said to you? I looked at him. And by this time, of course,
the tears, I can imagine.
So we get up and we leave. We get to the car and I say to Eric, I want to go and see Mutsa. Mutsa is a very, very good friend of mine. We ran the coffee shop together. We worked together at Zimbabwe Sun Hotel. She's a very good friend of mine. So I said, I want to go and see her now. He goes, no, let's go home. I said, no, I want to go and see Mutsa now. So we get to Mutsa's apartment. I just bash through the door, I pull her to her bedroom, and I sit on the bed and I just start crying. So she walks back to Eric and goes, what's going on? Then Eric tells her. Now she's pathetic. She sits there and starts crying with me. I'm saying,
I'll probably be that kind of friend.
I said, when we look back, we laugh about it, because I said, you're so pathetic. I'm coming to you for support. And
you're the one who's crying even more than me.
Exactly. So after sitting with her, then we went home and Eric says, what do you want to do? And I said nothing. He says, no, we've got to tell the family. I said, no, I'm not ready to tell my mom and dad that. Because everybody knew cancer. We had 3 people before that had just died because, and breast cancer. So it was like, how do I even begin to tell my mom and dad that? So for about 4 or 5 days, I literally buried my head. I sat with it, but I buried my head under a blanket. My kids didn't know what to do with me. They were young, very young. Tabile was still crawling. She was like 9 months when I got the news, and Cho was 4. Yeah. So they don't know what to do. There's someone who was buffing them off the whole time, doesn't want to talk to them. He was crying the whole time. Kids sense these things. Sense. And the lousy thing about it is that I was that mother who always loved breastfeeding. I breastfed Cho. She'll kill me for saying this on here. I breastfed Cho until she was 2. And my mom stopped me because I used to travel a lot with my work. So she would say, like, no, you can't keep doing that, express and then expect that. But I enjoyed it. And for me today, my kids never ever got sick because of that. Well, I believe that, So eventually Eric says, no, we've got to tell somebody. So he calls my sister-in-law, Patrick's wife, and she comes over and he says, this is the story. Then she doesn't know how to do it. Well, she was the nursing sister, so at least she coped better. Called my sister, she breaks down. Then we said, okay, we have to go and tell my parents. Now, Desi now also had to go and share that news with Patrick, who just sat there and didn't know how to take this because my sister's dying.
My little sister.
Baby sister's dying. Eventually, we go and tell my parents, and I watched my parents age 10 years in those few seconds that we broke the news to them. My dad, when you sigh in a seat and you're like, my mom just put her hand in her head and just cried. And it was almost like we're now at a funeral there because that's all we knew. We did not have better understanding and education on that. That's all we knew. So then we had to go through the whole thing now. What do you want to do? We have to have a mastectomy. I'm going, no.
Lose my boobs?
This just is, you know what I mean? Everybody, my friends at school used to laugh at me that you see Beth's boobs first before you see her. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, you're not going to do that. But we had to. So I had to have.
And you're how old here?
I was now. You want to know how old I am, Nyenge, right?
Well, you don't look old anyway.
At that stage, I was now 31. Yeah, 31. And, we then decided that let's go and do it. I went, had the mastectomy. Then the battle began. my surgeon says to me, "We're introducing you to an oncologist, a lovely lady, Dr. Nyakabao. I love it.
Oh, yeah, we had her on the show like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, she's amazing. She really held my hand through it. She kept me going. She was amazing. And, of course, the Cancer Association as well, they were really good. But with Dr. Nyakabao, she then started explaining to me. So it began to make sense because God being God, and I'll continually say that I wouldn't be sitting here today because it had spread. It was stage 3. So we're sitting here with a testimony of note. But she walked us through, she explained, she told me what's going to happen. And she did not mince her words about chemo. Then she also gave me a choice of doing radiotherapy. She explained radiotherapy, and I thought, no, I don't want to do radiotherapy because she did explain that sometimes if radio misses one cell, it can then spread. So I said, no, just take it off. Just let's take it off and let's just do this chemo thing. So we ended up doing chemo, and the worst thing for me was I knew that the hair's going to go. You're going to be sick. You're going to be, again, Nyenge, God being God, my hair didn't fall out.
Wow.
My hair did not fall out.
Wow.
It thinned out, but it did not fall out.
Wow.
You know, and yet you knew that most times.
Yeah, your hair falls out. Yeah.
Mine just thinned out. Wow. Again, God being God. Wow. You know, so yeah, I did my cycle of chemo. I will never.
How many cycles did you have?
6. I'll never wish that on anyone, not even my worst enemy. Nyenge, that was horrible. And yeah, you get sick and you get sick again and you get sick some more. You can't eat. And by the time you recover, you're back to your next cycle.
The next cycle.
Back to your next cycle. Eventually, I went back to work. I was working for Zimbabwe Sinatals then, and then I had another disaster in my life. After one of my sessions, I was in the sales department, so I had to make a trip to Bulawayo. I wasn't strong enough, and I remember saying to my boss, I don't think I should go. I'm not strong enough. And he says, no, you have to go. People are waiting for you, blah, blah, blah. And I kept saying, I'm not strong enough. Anyway, eventually, I go off to Bulawayo, do what I need to go and do. On my way back, I run over a child who dies.
You know.
This is God's testimony sitting here. This is God's testimony. Little girl got off a bus, ran across the street without looking, and she ran in front of the bus. All the other kids were coming and crossing the road from behind. It's not like I was going fast because you slow down when you see
a bus,
when you see the kids. I ran over this child. But I can't blame anybody. It's an accident. It has happened. But the little girl's family was so gracious. They were so gracious, because they could have cussed me. They could have spoken negative things over my life. But they were so gracious. And I remember Eric coming back. He went with some of the guys from work and saying that the father, I think was, or the uncle turned around and said that we're not saying that we'll miss our child, but we don't know what her future was going to be like. And it was like, so.
How did you, I can imagine, and being a mom as well, when you're a mother, I always tell people, once you become a mother,
you're a mother
so
of nations.
Even when you see other people's kids going through stuff, it kind of affects you,
It does. It was horrible. In fact, horrible does not even begin to describe it. So I've still got another chemo session that I'm needing to do. I've just gone through this, and I'm thinking, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? We went through it. I had great support from the people at work. They all went. I couldn't even go to the funeral. I couldn't. I don't think I'd have been able to even look at this little box and be okay with it. But the people from work went, and again, my supportive husband went, stood for me, and child was buried. And, a couple of times after that, Eric would go see them, continually just encourage them. And I think that made it easy for them as well, that It wasn't like it was just an accident. It's like, it will just throw you away. Yeah, so that was really calming on my part, that I had the support that supported, the family as well. So, yeah, so that was that journey, Nyenge, with, and then in all that, I then met Coach Taffam Koi.
Yes, I know.
And he had just written his book,
Exit Your
Excuses. Oh my God, did he not drum that into me? Because I was finding every excuse possible not to continue with life. Run over a child, cancer, you start looking for anything else that is not even there, And he was amazing. And, he said to me, you're going to read this book and you're going to action the things that you're going to read in this book. Again, support. I had friends. I had one friend that I'd love to mention, Nyenge. Her name is K Condones. She sat with me through every chemo session. And that was usually, that drip is what, 4 to 5 hours? She sat with me and she'd say to me, no, I'm not here to talk with you. I'm just, she said to Eric, no, don't worry.
Also, you had the drip, you didn't have the port.
No, I had the drip. Back then, can we
talk to
Yeah, so, and she said to Eric, no, you carry on. You do the school run with the kids. You concentrate on work. I've got your back. So every chemo session, she came and she sat out with me. And people at St. Anne's were like, what? How kind of a friend is this? It was really nice. But I had friends who came and they visited. They cooked for my family. They took the kids out. My family did the same thing. My church community did the same thing. So, again, that family, that community,
relationships. Power. I always say that as a pillar, one of the strongest pillars that you need in life, those relationships.
Yeah.
How important they
Absolutely.
are.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, so here I am, Nyenge,
20 odd years later and strong. But tell me about the emotional side of, cancer, and also your siblings, their support.
So emotionally, I was a wreck. It took a very long time to even understand what Dr. Nyakabawa was saying, because you think to yourself, is she just saying this because she's a doctor and she wants me to keep coming to her? You know what I'm trying to say? So it was very draining, very taxing. And you don't know what to do with yourself. You don't know what to say to yourself. Because at this stage now, you're thinking, but Lord, the Bible that I've been reading says your promises are A, B, C, D. I'm not seeing these promises. I'm not seeing these promises.
Everything's opposite of what you're saying.
Of what your word is saying. So my faith took a bit of a...
No, I understand completely.
I've
been there.
But then my cell group came round and they started supporting and praying, and it got better. It got better. Occasionally, until today, if I hear that somebody's passed on with cancer, I go back into that shell again and think, why me? And you start feeling, all of a sudden you start feeling pain that was not there. And I'll explain to you that again just now as we talk some more. So yeah, all I can say honestly was emotionally I was a wreck. But the family support that I had helped make it easier. Eric's support helped make it easier. His sisters were amazing. They made it easy. So they took a toll, but then Eric was telling me years later that we agreed that whatever we're feeling was never going to be shown in front of you. So I'm going, because people were crying, all sorts of things.
I get it. Because, the worst thing you can do because my brother had cancer, as you know, and passed on. But we will choose, like when we're going to the hospice, especially when he was now in the hospice, when you get there, positive vibes only.
Exactly.
Because he's already struggling with this. And then you come in with the sad face.
What was also horrible for me that I needed to get to terms with was, remember now I don't have a breast. So if I remember correctly, about 3 months after, when I'm back home now, chemo's finished, everything is done. And I had another sister, there's this very good friend, Gogorezo. I love that woman. She was a nursing student. She was one of the nurses who was at St. Anne's where I had the operation. And she says to me when I came around, the first thing I said was, thank you, Lord, that I'm alive, But she used to come and dress me. So I never used to see what she's doing. And I always say to her, I don't want to see, So she'd come and then one day she just says, oh, by the way, she calls me Tipi or Tetepeti. Tipi, this is my last dressing that I'm doing for you. You're going to have to do the rest on your own. Gogo, what do you mean? Because, you have to learn to do it on your own now. So I said, no, I can't. I can't. I mean, how am I going to reach out? And I won't be seeing myself. She says, no, you will learn how to do it. I will teach you. So I said, okay. So she dressed me that one. And then she used to come every 2-3 days. And she came back. She says, okay, lie down, because I never used to, I'd never seen the sky. So now I'm doing it. And she says, you can either lie down or you stand in front of the mirror and you can. So I said, let me lie down. And she says, me lying down is not going to make it that easy for you to do. So why don't you stand in front of the mirror so you know how that you're covering each part. Remember, God, this is the whole chest that we covering that we need to cover. So I stood in front of the mirror and I saw the scar for the first time. I cried. It was the most horrific scar that I'd ever seen anyway. It was horrific because she used to, this scar is so beautiful, but to me it was horrific. Because now all of a sudden I'm seeing it for the first time. Massive scar right across, And that was that. And I said, Eric will never see me naked again. And for sure. Well, not again, but, he then would come and he would say to me, no, it's fine. And today, we laugh about it. And we always laugh. And I think I said it at one of the Rotary meetings. I said, he's one of the luckiest men that he can take my boob to work and put it on his desk.
And play with it in the office and then come back and put it back on you.
Yeah. But right now, Nyenge, I think my story. One of the reasons why we weren't able to actually have what the session was, since 2018, I've since lost a sibling. Before that, my dad had gone, my other sister-in-law had gone 6 days. They had gone 2015, dad 2009. But from 2018, I've lost a sibling or a nephew. And then 2023, mom passed. So this is November 2023, and we're thinking, okay, she was tired. I can't carry on bearing my children. I'm just tired. I just need to go now. And what happens then? 5 months later, my sister comes back from a trip in Ghana, all excited. She's doing World Cup cricket. She comes home. We always used to text each other, hey, I'm back. I've traveled well, but I'm so tired. She's telling me, Baba, 2 days later, I'm still tired. And the husband says, no, go and see the doctor. Nyenge, from the time that she came back to see a doctor, it was like 5 weeks. Within 5 weeks, my sister was gone. No idea, Nyenge, that she had groin, breast, and ovarian cancer.
No.
When she told me, I said to my husband, I'm coming to see Trish straight away. I was on the very next flight on the next day. Because she was there to support me through my journey. So I'm thinking, I'm going to support you through your journey. So we go, I'm with her, serving, waiting on her, serving her, chatting with her, shouting at her when she's not eating, because I'm saying, I'm, revenge time now, I'm
now the sister. You're the patient.
You know what I mean? But yes, Nyenge, within 5 weeks, my sister was gone. And that one, Nyenge, I'm struggling. It has not been an easy journey. The void that she's left. I don't know about everybody else, but just with me, it has not been an easy road. It has not been easy at all. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Again, my faith was kicked back. And I had to say to people, right now, please don't come with scripture. I'm not ready for scripture. Love on me. Just wait on scripture. I'm not saying God is not there. I just have a lot of unanswered questions until today. I keep myself busy so that I can kind of like, but I'm saying, Trish, how? And I have not even mourned Mom, because Mom died in November. December, as you know, with our industry, is
so busy.
I was on the go. Go. Then the next thing is 5 nights later. So now again, I feel pain and I feel, what's going on? As I come back, as you know. But then I go back and I stand on the word that you'll never give you back something twice. So it's been hard, Nyenge. It's been difficult. But I just thank God for community. I thank God for relationships. I thank God for my family that stands by me, and we continue to stand by each other.
Sure. You know, sometimes we look at our own life. Like, I went through stuff as well, you know. My brother was ill. From then on, we've also just had one death after another. Then I was ill. Then, you know, where you kind of like sit and then you have pity parties. Like, then but yet you look at, and then I'm like looking at you, Sis Pat, and you've been going through stuff. I've been going, and then sometimes that's when I think that reaching out, when you talk away, just come and love on me, and you know, it sometimes helps, but yeah, sometimes, my gosh, I'm in shock. Sometimes you don't know. That's when I sit and I'm like, but God, and then I'm like, okay, but you're still God, you're still on the throne, you know why, and then you stop questioning. But you're...
Stop questioning. I'm still questioning.
And it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while. And take your time.
Thank you.
Grief is hard. It's been 2 years for me and my brother. It's been a year since my sekuru. It's been a few months since my cousin brother. Sometimes I question God. And then I was like, okay, God, I won't question. Sometimes I cry. Sometimes I hear like my brother's favorite song.
And it triggers you.
And it triggers. It just, and I just go, and I can't stop it. There's one day I just dumped a trolley in Pick and Pay.
Wow.
Because they started, because I used to love playing Andy Perry, power, you know, like, I'm not going to die, I'm not going to die. It just started playing. And, you know, I started singing along. I was like, oh, no, I think I'm okay. Then, I couldn't. I just walked out.
And sometimes people don't understand.
They don't understand, you know.
But, you know, one thing that I want to actually just say in parting, Nyenge, is that as families, stay close, stay united. And now that there's this modern technology, send each other voice notes. I was saying to my niece and my daughter the other day, my sister hated voice notes. She would say, no, I won't say that. She doesn't mind if you send it to her. But today, Nyenge, I've got nothing to play back and to hear that voice again. So where you can, with your friends, with your family, with whoever you're in a good relationship, send each other voice notes. Even if it's just, good morning, beautiful.
Gosh, you've got such wow, yeah. We need to write a book, and we need to do a part 2 of this. Because there's just so many things that I just wanted to touch and unpack, and that I know our viewers will learn from, you know. But the one thing that I've just always admired about you, besides being a breast cancer survivor, is just the family aspect and the unity and just that loving on each other. Because I feel like with the current environment, I don't know whether it's technology, people living overseas or whatever it is, the family structure is just being attacked. It's being the family structure is under a lot of attack. Completely. The marriage structure is under a lot of attack, and I think it's we need to speak into these things and the importance of them and the way God designed them, and that's the beauty of what I see in you and what I've admired in you and your family and your marriage and you know that.
Thank you.
How do we keep that, you know, that going? You know, people need to see the good examples that are there, you know. And
so we have to have part 2.
We have to have part 2 of this. So we just, you know, speak into this. But before we close, I'm going to have some fun questions just to...
I know, right? I'm sorry about that.
But before we go into the fun questions, I just want 5 life lessons from you that you want to give our viewers.
5 life lessons. Always be confident in who you are. Stand tall. Speak the truth. And one of the things that I'll leave it on 4 because this one will probably take like 6 points. I always say the risk of riskless living is the greatest risk of all. We need to take risks.
Wow.
We need to take risks.
I think a lot of people are, including myself, you know, I've been scared to do a lot of things, but yeah, I want that.
And I understand why, especially, you know, currently. I understand why. But we need to take the risk. We need to just step out and say, I mean, look at all these big guns who've succeeded today. They didn't start with just shooting up straight to the top. They fell a couple of times, but they got up, dusted themselves, and went on. They kept taking risks.
Oh, I think that one's going to be the big one that we're going with, the risk-taking. So, my 5 fun questions. What's your favorite color and why?
Pink. My wedding gown was pink.
Are you serious?
My wedding gown was pink.
Wow. Back then,
my wedding gown was pink.
Oh my God. So you were always the posh tete.
You see now?
Clearly. Yeah, I mean, now who does that, you know? And if I were to ask what's your favorite animal, what would it be and why?
Lion. Just that confidence that, you know, I'm the king of the jungle.
Wow.
So I want to be the one who's the king in everything that I do. A queen, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a lion. Lioness. Yeah.
Oh, yay. I love that. Your favorite book that you've read, the best, like that taught you so much?
Jump. Steve Harvey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You got to jump. It's part of that taking risks. That if you don't jump, you remain where you are.
Oh, fantastic. And movie? Best movie you've watched?
I don't know how many times I've watched it.
Yeah, first tell me how many times you watched it, and I think I can.
I think 13. Pretty Woman. Pretty Woman. Followed by Wedding Planner.
Oh, wow.
I loved, and in fact, I generally love J-Lo movies.
No,
yeah, but Pretty Woman.
Woman is like,
yeah, not a J-Lo one, but that is classic.
I know Pretty Woman is such a classic. You know,
it is a classic.
I mean, for me, it's Pretty Woman.
Young movie, but it's
but you know, that's what I keep telling you. The thing about Pretty Woman, I don't know what it is. It's just
you keep going back and watching
it. They feel good, and they actually when she goes back to the shop, you know, and she says, "Bad mistake."
Exactly. Never underestimate anybody.
I love that part. Okay, you are about to transcend. This is your last day on earth, and you know, God is like, okay, Petronella, it's time now. What is the one thing that you'd like to say? You know what, God, I'm ready because I've done what?
I've been able to leave a legacy, one, my children and what they can do, and 2, I've been able to impart the gifting that you gave me into other people through the mentorship programs that I run.
Wow, it's powerful. We've packed our bags. We've got our passports. We're going on holiday. Where are we flying off to?
Do we have to fly?
Oh, we can drive, but yeah.
Do you know what? Give me Nyanga any day. Don't
serious?
Say to me Miami Beach or whatever. Give me Nyanga any day.
Why Nyanga though?
I just love it. It's so peaceful. It's just so calming, you know. And also, I just love that weather.
It is beautiful. It's calming.
You were waiting for me to say what Hawaii was. No, give me Nyanga any day. Any day.
Wow. Zim tourism. We need to do stuff there.
Right.
Sister Petronella, I could go on. I still have so much that I want to ask you. I still have so much that I know you can impart to our community and to our listeners and our viewers. But we have to come to an end, sadly. I just want you to give one message that you, to our listeners, to our viewers, as we're closing.
Again, be true to yourself. Just become the person that God has made you to be. Don't try and fit into someone else's shoes who are not your shoes. Just stay in your lane, run your own race.
So as we're going into the week, ladies and gentlemen, stay in your lane, run your race. I mean, truly be excellent in what God has ordained for you. Just become excellent in what God has ordained for you. It's been an amazing afternoon sitting with you, and I look forward to our part 2. And I think our viewers are also looking forward to a part 2. Go out, enjoy your week, and just be excellent.
It's been an honor. Thank you so much for having me, Nyenge. It has been an honor.
I knew this was going to be fun.
And well done for what you're doing.
This
is also, these moments of Nyenge is actually amazing. Keep doing it. Keep running with your passion. Keep running in your lane.
I will continue to run in my lane. See you next week, guys. Thank you.